All right, guys, so I want to give you some of my quick thoughts on what is taking place in the Ukraine. From the reports that I have read, the Russian government has ordered a deployment of troops into the conflict zone within eastern Ukraine, specifically Donbass, which consists of two Russian satellite states, the republics of Donetsk and Luhansk, which Russia recognizes as independent states and as allies to Russia, whereas the rest of the world does not. The officials within these republics recently complained to Russia of Ukrainian aggression, and they requested help from the Russian military. And so the way that the Russians see it is that this is a move to defend their fellow Russians in the Donbass region. Of course, the Ukrainians see this as an invasion, and NATO sees this as an invasion. It was just reported that there have been explosions in Kiev, although we haven't really gotten any details on that. Gunfire has supposedly been heard, but we don't really have any details on that. And Putin has ordered a deployment of troops into eastern Ukraine, although we have not gotten any detail on that either. So we have yet to learn more about the situation and to get more insight and information. But as time goes on, this definitely will be presented. Putin recently stated that NATO's expansion into Ukraine is not acceptable. And so ultimately, this is a war between Russia and NATO. That's what we have been witnessing for a very long time. If you go back to the conflict between Georgia and Russia, that was a conflict between NATO and Russia. And it's all about competing over spheres of influence. Let's not forget, Ukraine historically was a part of Russia. And Ukraine also has religious significance in the Russian ethos, because it was from Ukraine that Christianity spread to the rest of Russia. And also, the Soviet Union once controlled the Ukraine. So Russia really sees this as regaining its empire. And make no mistake, what we have been witnessing within recent years is a revival of empires, be it Turkey expanding into the Middle East, or Turkey expanding its own geopolitical leverage into the South Caucasus, Russia putting troops in the South Caucasus, Russia also putting troops in the Middle East, in Libya. All of this is countries that were once major empires trying to be empires again. It really is that simple. And so NATO wants to expand into Ukraine. NATO wants to keep Ukraine as a part of its sphere of influence, and Russia does not want this to happen. That's what we are witnessing. And so this has been a regional conflict between Russians and Ukrainians in East Ukraine. And it's so far remained within that area, as far as we know. But I think ultimately the Russians want to take the whole of Ukraine. I mean, Ukraine was a part of Russia. And if the Russians want to revive their empire, Ukraine is going to be a key part of that aspiration. So I think that's a no-brainer. It's nothing really far-fetched. And I think, as I've said many times for years, that as Russia intensifies its own foreign policy, the Europeans are going to intensify their own militarism, and they are going to invigorate their militaries, especially the Germans. And remember, the Germans had 2 wars with the Russians, World War I and World War II. We all know this. And when, after Russia annexed Crimea and supported a proxy war in Donbass, the Germans were talking a lot about reviving their military strength, reinvigorating their military capacity. And they pointed to Russia as one of the major reasons as to why they wanted to begin this plan of really increasing or revitalizing and reinvigorating Germany's military strength. And so what we're going to see is Germany increasing its military might. Russia is going to continue to intensify its aspirations of empire. And then also, let's not forget, we can't forget Turkey. Ukraine is right across from Turkey. And so as Russia expands itself, the Turks are going to use that as an opportunity to justify its own militarization and strengthening its own military capacity, and also bolstering its position on foreign policy and expanding itself. Because look, the Russians are expanding themselves, so we also must make Turkey great again and make Turkey into an empire and bring back its former glory, because we have to fight against our Russian enemy. So yeah, Turkey and Russia historically have been enemies. They've had many wars against each other. Russia has won every single one of them, so I don't expect the Turks to make friends with the Russians anytime soon. Anyway, those are my thoughts on that. I will continue to bring up information and ideas as they come, and we will definitely be keeping track of this situation. You guys just heard some theology. God bless.